All right. And so here we go. Why, thank you. There you go. Touch your head. Oh, right there. Oh, that's the spot. Oh, look at that face. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. There we go. Cat cam. No, don't show me. Chin? No. Okay, hold on. Boop. Why, thank you. You're so nice. Oh, you beautiful little chaos beast, you. Look at all those colors. If they could see the inside of your mouth, they'd see that your mouth has patches of pink and black as well. Here we go. All right. All right, man. We got work to do. This isn't about fun. This isn't about petting cats. We have to toil and not have fun talking about D&D, okay? Because that's what this hobby's about. It's about pain and obligation. Yeah, I know you'd understand. Okay. Hey, ready to nap? Welcome back. Bronson, why not an Inquisitor of some sort and antithesis to her? We're going to keep it open for randomization. And yes, we made a lawful good Way of Death vampire monk. You've been under the weather? I'm sorry to hear that. There have been colds and other such things going around. So everyone out there, please take care of yourself. Buy hand sanitizer. Wash your hands. I mean, do what you got to do. Stay healthy. Get your flu shot. Get vitamin C and zinc, everyone. Vitamin C and zinc. And if you want an excuse to have delicious soup, just have some nice chicken soup. Chicken noodle even. And you're on the mend. That's great. Ready to nap. And thank you for hanging out with us while you are mending. Oh, jeez, Bronson. Don't overdo it too. The alcohol will, the alcohol will get you where the germs won't. Ready to nap. We're going to be making a winter holiday prompt personification. We made 2 that were following the NPC creation method on our worksheet through the DMG. And now we're going to make 2 that are going to be villains. At the end of this, then, we'll have some good prompts to continue developing our winter holidays over the next couple days in the workshop. All right, are you taking off? We got to get to work, man. Alright says there's a new viewing algorithm thing and it defaults to recommended channels. Ah, okay. So it's not just who has the highest, but it's like customized to what Twitch is recommending you watch, not just based on the number of people watching. Bubonic One saying it's the salt in the soup. All right. Hey, good to know. I love learning facts. If you're going to create a villain, there are definitely ways to go about it. My way is not the only way. This is a way to determine prompts for your villain. And much how we make characters, player characters, randomized, we can use the Dungeon Master's Guide as kind of a player's handbook for these NPCs. All right. Your soul's right. All right, so what type of a villain are we going to make that's going to be a personification of some kind of wintertime holiday? Now, we don't know anything about the setting. We don't know if it's tropical, if it's a desert, if it's an island, if it's in the middle of a Siberian-like taiga. We're making the manifestations first. Whether or not they actually appear as a character representation of a holiday, such as St. Nicholas, or such as, you know, the little baby in the Happy New Year sash, or if this is simply just how we can think of the holiday. You know, as we have a concept of Valentine's Day, and we can manifest the image perhaps of a Cupid, or of a you know, of a fair maiden or something along those lines. So for our adventure villain, we're going to use the prompt here on a D20 roll. Ready to nap, will you kick us off with a D20 roll in chat? Exclamation point roll space 1D20. Oh, not an underscore, just need a space. Getting closer. Not a hyphen. Almost there, almost there, buddy. Ready? Are you sure you're recovering from your sickness? Are you kind of delirious? Okay, that except a space between L and 1. Okay. Don't worry, I know I'm putting you on the spot here. For all I know, you're using a mobile input or something. There we go, we rolled a 5. A giant bent on plunder. A giant, a gigante, bent on plunder. Now, what is our villain's scheme? What is our villain's scheme? Hark, will you please roll a D8? Seven, revenge. And in particular, Bronson, will you please roll a D4? Rolls a 3. Avenge the death of a loved one. Okay. Revenge. This villain is out to avenge the death of a loved one. All right, next up. How is our villain going to try and achieve this goal? There are many ways to do so. Bubonic one, will you please roll a D20 in chat? And then Machi, I'll call on you. I'll call on you next. You roll an 11. Magical Mayhem. And in particular, Machi Shika, will you please give me a D8 roll in chat? Bronson, it's what you see here, as well as some of the character creation. Some of the character creation traits. Useful knowledge isn't going to be randomized, as a heads up. Oh, we might not have Machi. Machi was enjoying some mead. Exhausted Dragon, are you still hanging out? Can you give me a D8 roll in chat, please? We have Exhausted Dragon and Ready to Nap. We're getting sleepy. Exclamation point roll, space 1d8, and you give us a 2 through illusions. Magical Mayhem. Illusions. Now, our villain's weakness. What is the thing that can drive our villain away? Who else? All right, are you still up or did you fall asleep too? Which is fine because you said that you were. Also, my headset is shortly going to be out of battery, so I'm going to plug it in, and it'll probably make a device connection noise, so it's my computer and not yours. Well, you could just say which one you wanted to lock in. Because by typing the command itself, that wasn't really, oh, so Cold Spark is here. I can call on you, Cold Spark. Yeah. So what you do, Bronson, and say like, I want to roll appearance, or I want to roll mannerism, or something along those lines. So, Cold Spark, can you give us our D8 roll for the villain's weakness? You rolled a 5. The villain is destroyed if it speaks its true name. Now, it could literally be just that, or we could take that in a couple different directions, with that as the core concept, where it must be its own downfall, or it must be tricked into its own downfall. You're rolling up a bunch of random character builds during the earlier part of the stream to give you some prompt for character design. Rolled a 16 to 20 on all their levels. Ready to Nap is that's the villain's true name that you want it to say. All right, occupation and history. Now that's this is bringing us back around to now the NPC build portion. You may say, well, hold on. Well, I thought we were making villains. Remember, villains are NPCs. I mean, so too are monsters. Shh. So for occupation and history, those are some small details for our giant. We'll come back to those. For this run, I want us to just build the concept first, and then we will get into the specifics. Anything that we've done so far could be a tiefling, could be an aquatic elf, could be a ghost-wise halfling, could be an avian from Magic the Gathering Planeshift. Oh yeah, that character. I remember that character. At least the concept. I don't remember the name itself. Now, for the appearance, Bronson, as you didn't identify what that is, if you want to get us going, and I'll redeem your workshop dice roll. Bronson, can you roll a d20 in chat? What is something interesting about this this villain's appearance? And, you know, Hark, it could also be something like, if not true name, it could be their reflection. It could be, you know, if confronted with something else. So you roll an 18. A distinctive posture. And in particular, Bronson, I'll give you a follow-up here. Tell you what, roll a D12s need some love. If it's a 1 through 6, there's a crooked posture. If it's a 7 through 12, it's a rigid posture. So go ahead and roll a d12. A 4, a crooked posture. Distinctive, crooked posture. All right, now for the abilities. Let me get who else is hanging out with us tonight. If any of you out there watching would like to participate, let me know. Old Wolf, are you still hanging out? If so, Old Wolf, could you type ! roll space 2d6? Are you taking off, Bronson? I want to say thank you because you enjoy these. Well, we all have different tastes for what we consider to be entertaining or cringy. So I can't speak for what you are experiencing in other channels. What I can say is thank you that you've enjoyed this channel and who we are and what we do, Bronson. All right, Old Wolf, you rolled a 2 and a 2. And so, in this case, apparently our high and our low is dexterity. Old Wolf, brother, I need you to roll a d6 and have it not be a 2. Roll 1d6 for me, please. However, our high ability is dex. So this is implying that this villainous character is lithe, agile, and graceful. Oh, saving up for that inspiration, Hark. 1 has been redeemed so far. Ah, 4. Intelligence. is our low stat. So our villain is dim-witted or slow, but is extremely lithe, agile, and graceful. Oh, getting there, Hark. Getting there. And yeah, participation is huge. This is, I mean, D&D is it's a community storytelling. It is us weaving some kind of narrative and drawing in our experiences. And while it's not a traditional presentation, I mean, Tuesdays are. And hopefully, you know, if you come by on a Tuesday, you'll enjoy what we do there with that presentation. Though our workshops are like mini D&D sessions themselves. The appreciation gift are some unpainted minis. Now, what is a talent that our villain has? Yes, our villain may very well know how to play an instrument or sing beautifully or something along those lines. Bubonic one, will you please roll a d20 in chat and let us know what our NPC talent is? Draws beautifully. Draws beautifully. Cave paintings, or you know, so if we have sort of like a warning character, a villainous prompt to a holiday, this could be something like a drawing of the Slender Man before he gets you, or you know, or the warning signs that, you know, if it's a Krampus-like character that, you know, if you're being a bad boy or girl for a Christmas-style holiday, that the giant will come and get you, but will leave drawings, and that's of course where the parents go, wink, that you know, if you get 3 pictures of you drawn or something like that, I don't know, then this character might appear on the third, you know, whatever, on the third day, or whatever, and eat you or something. His illusions are his art. That's true. He is causing magical mayhem through illusions. You are correct, Bronson. I don't know when you're going to bed, Bronson. We're making our way there. We'll be there shortly. We'll be there shortly. So unless anyone spends inspiration to lock it in that way, we can have you come around for that. So that is our talent. Now, what about our mannerism? What is a way that this character conducts him, her, or itself? Ready to nap. Can you give me a D20 roll, please? And again, if there's anyone else out there watching, I don't mind bringing... Oh, hey, Machi, there you are. I called on you a little earlier. You might have stepped away. I'll call on you for the next roll if you want to participate. But if there's anyone out there who wants to participate, just, you know, say something in chat, too. And we'll get you involved. Ready to nap gave us a 10. Okay, yeah, no problem for a work call. Not that you need my excuse, jeez. Uses colorful oaths and exclamations. Meow. What you need, buddy? Hi, there you are. Are you lonely? Huh? All right. Well, you can come up and join us if you want. Or you could just, I don't know, kind of wig out on the floor. Yeah, exactly. My hair is horny toad. By Poseidon's beard. There's a really good one in Final Fantasy XIV. By Thal's balls. Zounds. Yeah, exactly, Bronson. So it probably uses some naughty words, because of course this is the giant that eats naughty kids or whatever. I don't know. We're getting there. By the knobby knees of Ra. Stars and garters. Ye gods. Interaction with others. Ooh. Now, I mean, we know the villainous interaction, though there might be other clues for this character's personality. So, Machi, will you please roll a d12 in chat? If we're not muttering oaths, if we're not walking around in a crooked posture, seeking revenge for the death of a loved one. You rolled a 9. We are quite irritable. We are very irritable. Useful knowledge, it'll be whatever we need it to be. Not worried about that right now. I keep it there for the sake of, of placekeeping, because there are times where, when we're creating an NPC or villain, we do want to fill that in, or we start with that as a conveyance of what we need this character to be or do as a medium. But moving on, we already have that purpose in mind by being a placeholder for a holiday. Now, for our ideal. Oh no! Yeah, that's a venerable beard ready to nap. My goodness. Death Angel, are you still hanging around, or Refry? Is James Norse still here? Then eternal cheers to you, brother. Oh, lurk mode? Okay. That's fine. That's fine, Ray Fry. So maybe Bewitchcraft or Marlboro Man. Volvo? I see Volvo hangs out, but Volvo lurks a lot. Hot Dogs, are you out there? Oh, Exhausted Dragon, if you're still hanging out, why don't you help us out with a roll? Exhausted Dragon, will you please give me a 2d6 roll? 2d6. A 5 and a 5. Neutral? Neutral neutrality. So perhaps our villain is giant, will eat anyone's kid that's misbehaving. Doesn't play favorites, doesn't even matter, is it a kid, is it a teen, is it an adult? Have you been bad? Our giant's gonna get you. We are a force to be reckoned with. And apparently we leave some pretty spooky signs that we're on our way. With illusion and in these beautiful drawings and such. Now, what about our bond? Well, there was an NPC at some point. Avenge the death of a loved one. However, that loved one could come back around in the bond. Even the flaw. Let's find out. Hark, will you roll a d10 for our bond? And then Bronson can roll us a d12 for our flaw or secret. Hark rolls a 1 dedicated to fulfilling a personal life goal. Dedicated to fulfilling a personal life goal. And go ahead and roll the D12 then, Bronson. You roll an 11. We have a flaw or a secret that we are in possession of forbidden lore. And this could help us out when we're trying to develop a culture that would have this as a villainous holiday character or inspiration. Forbidden donut. Bronson says, none are above my absolution. Men, women, children, none shall survive my wrath. Your death will be no different. From here, again, we can just stop here. I think we have a wonderful villainous concept. And interestingly enough, as a giant, much like we've had a vampire, and much like we've had a Kalishtar, which is simply a two-souled creature, a giant is a template that can be applied. You can have a giant tiefling. Now, to us, in the monster manual, we think of giants as just, big humans. Hill giants and all that, they might look a little goofy. Fomorians are just twisted humanoids. There's nothing saying that we couldn't have a giant tiefling, a giant dragonborn, a giant halfling. Because halflings, while their stature is smaller, they have their own humanoid proportions. Maybe a giant halfling is kind of like a Slender Man character. Kind of like, you look at the character and you're like, you're scarily different. Well, but maybe not, Bronson. I mean, so if halflings might have, disproportionately sized heads, like slightly larger to fit their bodies, or something along those lines. Or it's simply, or it could be a giant that's 30 feet tall, but has the classic hair on the top of their foot. A giant can be what we want it to be. A giant elf. So I like so far that our 3 holidays are simply, I guess, adjectives for things that could be. We have a lot of prompts. And if we wish, we can stop here and talk about a holiday. We can also go through for things like occupation and history and do some quick character fleshing out. The one and only... Now, do you want me to pronounce that as Rao or to actually say R-A-O? Still? Howdy. Cast enlarge on himself to reach the top shelf. We'll doing this tomorrow for my campaign on index cards. Oh, do you like the methodology then, Ready to Nap? Could have made a pact for his illusionary painting magic to get his edge for revenge. Okay, to say RAO? Alright. Then RAO, thank you for joining us tonight. And if we go through occupation, if you only want occupation, pardon me, I'm getting enthusiastic. If you only want occupation, roll a background and keep it at that. Just roll a background. It's what someone does. It's a profession. It's a hobby. It's a lifestyle. And if you want more, their history and other things, go beyond the background. If you're making NPCs, and remember, villains are NPCs. there may be times where you don't care about the stats. They will have the stats that you need them to be. You may never have to track hit points or spell lists, right? They are what you need them to be as the story presenter. But if you need them to be a concept, or if you need them to be a vehicle to deliver a message, or to apply pressure, or simply to flesh out your world, that is already done up here. And we can refine it more if we'd like. I heard that there was live D&D, and I was like, my name was on the guest list. Do you play D&D, or are you here, do you seek to learn, or what's your experience with the hobby, RAO? All right, Old Wolf, have a great night. In fact, Old Wolf, before you go, can you give us one more roll, please? If you can type !roll space 1D100. Pardon. Let's provide some details to our giant. Because remember, everything that we just did can apply to a boy, a girl, a robot, a tiefling, a triton, a Yuan-Ti pureblood. We've come up with the character concept. That is the core. Now we're going to fill in some details for the conveyance of the concept. Rolled a 94. So in this case, I don't know if we really need multi-class. So this would end up being a male character on our custom character generator here. If we just split that 1 to 50, 51 to 100. Your first sanctioned session, I got 3 kills in a single turn with a level 2 monk. Now, when you say a sanctioned session, are you playing an Adventurers League? Or is this like a homebrew, like a West Marches style, where there's a lot of participants, but you all have to track your different characters and inventories? Now, I guess I'll leave this open to you all. Do you want to roll a multi-class character? Or are you happy with a character that is just like, we're using this to determine a female or a male character? All right, so I presume the I do is Hark saying multi-class? Okay. In which case, RAO, can you please help us out with this character? And can you roll a D100 in chat by typing !roll space 1D100? It was an encounters campaign that was sanctioned through DCI. Okay, so are you playing at a local game store then? And you rolled a 69, so we have... It's our second one tonight. And so Hark is in with the nice. We have a male character who's multi-classed. The nices are coming out of the woodwork. At least now I can see who's up and wants to roll more dice. Okay. For the race of our giant... Because we can, again, this could be a giant something, just a manifestation of a race that already exists in this culture. Can I have... Oh, you haven't played an... Oh, gotcha. All right, well, RAO, thank you for finding us. We do play D&D on Tuesdays. Wednesday through Saturday, we're a workshop, so we talk about character creation, campaign creation, maps, NPCs and villains. We talk about economy and philosophy and all sorts of things that can be used in your game as a player and or as a DM. So you are certainly welcome here, especially if it's been a while and you gotta dust off the old brain here, since we are all using our big brains to have some wonderful ideas. Okay. Oh, well, thank you, RAO, for the follow. All right, Hark, can you please roll a 50-sided die to determine the race of our giant with a crooked posture? You rolled a 40. A siren. A siren. Interesting. So we actually have a giant flying creature who's out to... So, you know, instead of like an eagle grabbing up your baby and flying away, we have a siren that might do the same to your bad kids. Yes, siren is a flying race in Magic the Gathering Plane Shift in the supplement. So we have a male siren. Next up, that was Hark. Ready to Nap, can you roll a percentile? And we're going to use the penchant for evil chart here. Yeah, I believe so. Let's double check. The siren is Ixalan. Ready to Nap, whichever you prefer. If you do 2d10, the first is 10s, the second is 1s, or you could just roll a d100. Rolled a 25, so we have a lawful evil. A lawful evil male giant siren. Not worried about the level, not worried about if they take feats or ability score improvements. Now, what is the background of this character? You know, at some point, he must have been a father or an uncle or, you know, had a best friend, because he's out there avenging the a lost loved one of some kind. Oh yeah, the Zozekahedrons, those are really interesting. Exhausted Dragon, as I'm going down the list of nices, you're the third one. Can you roll a 78-sided die, Exhausted Dragon? You rolled a 59. So we are a plaintiff. Now, this is a background out of Acquisitions Incorporated. And actually, as a plaintiff, is there an extra roll on that for a style or a type? No, there is no additional roll. So we'll look up the specifics of a plaintiff. Entire family, entire village, he is avenging his culture as a whole. And now, what is the methodology through which, and again, if you're like, well, whatever, he's doing it through magical illusion, just make it a wizard if you want. Still, let's roll it in the spirit of things. And after Exhausted Dragon said nice, Cold Spark said nice. And so, Cold Spark, can you roll a D13, please? Pardon me. Roll a 7, and we have another monk. Interesting. So now let's get a D8. RAO, can you please type !roll space 1D8 and let us know what kind of monk we have. Ah, you like monks. Well, let's see what kind of a monk our siren will be. Rolling a 4, another long death monk. I'm kind of getting a feel for the culture then, it would seem. Background silliness. We'll see if there's any additional rolls for that. I don't know if there is offhand, because we already have our ideal, bond, and flaw. The personality traits are things that we're going to develop here. So unless I'm missing a chart where it's like, you know, the type of plaintiff on a D6 or something. So this is building an interesting culture. This could be a foil, then, to our NPC, who is also a long death monk vampire. No, well, Machi, don't worry. You redeemed it for a dice roll. We're making a second villainous prompt after this. And so you can roll for the background for our second character after we finish this one, which we're almost at the end. And then lastly, where in the life cycle is our giant siren? And so, tell you what, we'll take a look. Machi, in the meantime, can you roll a D100 to let us know how our siren appears in his age? With a 36, we have an adult siren. Okay. So we have an adult, lawful evil, male giant siren, Way of the Long Death monk, who is a plaintiff. Now, we have a lot of information, and I want to talk with you all about how we can extrapolate some kind of a winter, you know, whether it's philosophical, it could be about a historical event or figure, it could be religious, it could just be celestial with a solstice or the approaching or passing of one. It could be somehow, I don't know, governmental. It could be a folktale to try and scare kids to be good, to avoid a Krampus-like figure. Let me get... Let me get the plaintiff up as well, because this is going to help us in determining perhaps the methods or the thoughts of our character. Backgrounds. Celebrity adventurer scion, failed merchant, gambler, plaintiff. Sure, accidents happen, but they seem to happen an awful lot when Acquisitions Incorporated operatives are on the scene. Naturally, nothing ever happens when there are no witnesses left behind, but sometimes one casualty is left a little less than dead, just waiting to discover what a lucky break that accident actually was. You were a victim of a legal incident that was ostensibly the fault of AI, or in this case, some other institution. At least that's what the local magistrate said. But before a final ruling could be handed down, AI offered you a job. Don't know how to swing a sword? They promised to teach you. Think you have what it takes to sling spells? They've got masters who will have you throwing fire in no time. With the promise of untold treasures and realms of magic and mystery just a dungeon away, you left your old life behind. Now a world of adventure is yours. Just initial here and sign here. Absolve AC Inc. of all former claims and acknowledge you understand past outcomes don't guarantee future results. So it seems that our revenge, right? We're out for revenge, or actually to avenge the death of a loved one. To do that, there may have been an accident of some kind that saw a sibling, a best friend, an important family member or village elder or something was killed. And so, because of the grievous, or the grieving and the grievous nature of the event that took place, our siren was offered some kind of power, perhaps by the same being that brought destruction. Though with that power came perhaps the corruption of the body, the gigantism, the crooked posture. And with that too, with the power, we have not been handling that power responsibly, as we are now wielding it to seek others who might have that might have wronged us, or who do wrong in society, like get Krampus and the bad kids kind of a thing. So plaintiff's background feature is that they can spin legal sounding stuff to intimidate people. Yeah, legalese. With common folks who don't know any better, you might be able to intimidate or deceive to get favors or special treatment. And in this case, we could probably take this into the illusions. The method to exact our revenge is by imposing the illusions, these menacing figures. As we illustrate beautifully, this could manifest as illustrations. This could manifest as manuscript. If we have a giant, our giant siren doesn't have to be 50 feet tall. Our giant siren could be kind of like a Slender Man, maybe like 15 feet tall, like just over the medium size category. Has that kind of like a keyline nose, although it might be like a beak, is in the very like thin coat with the tall kind of frumpy hat, and delivers these missives or a list of the things that you've done wrong. And only if we speak our true name might that revert us to our past existence as someone who is weak and angry, instead of, I guess, strong and angry. Or we have kind of like this is kind of coming across like an Ebenezer Scrooge with some superpowers. Same monastery for the PC and NPC. The NPC killed off the monastery for an eclipse sacrifice. There would have to be a greater reason, as the NPC was lawful good RAO. I'm not against the idea, but this manifestation of kind of a New Year style character that represents the end of something, and therefore the beginning and the continuation into the next. We can weave this together once we have our not necessarily a pantheon, but once we have our characters in place. So it's a giant bent on plunder. We want to take things over. We want to own. We want to seize. And so I guess for revenge, maybe this was a character that was offered, or that the village, I don't know, it could have been a bullying incident that went too far. It could have been something where, I don't know, an irresponsible village elder asked someone to do something, to go up on a roof in a rainstorm, and ended up getting zapped, and that just stoked the fires of revenge to the point where this is almost a background that's like the warlock class, if you think about it. And so we're out to own. Whether it's people, property, souls, or whatever else that we want to attach, because this is a villainous character. Pardon. We do so by creating illusions. Perhaps that we're out of control. Perhaps that we we're lawful evil as well. Perhaps that, things that we don't want are broken, so we throw them out. And therefore, anything in the trash is public property, and he'll come and take your things even though they're not actually broken. So there's a moral to the story to tell your kids. Don't just throw stuff out. Try and reuse it. Try and mend it. Take care of the things that you have, including yourself and your own morals and your own soul. Otherwise, this kind of, a keyline Ebenezer Scrooge is going to come and collect. So it's not so much like a Death Reaper. But this is more like an Existence Reaper. It will take people, will take things. The whole colorful language as well. Machi, the more that we're going back and looking at this from the broad, then to the detail, colorful oaths and exclamations. We have this lawful evil, and now we have a lawyer as a background, kind of an evil lawyer. Someone who is neutral. I mean, it doesn't matter if you're rich or poor. Maybe if you're not good or bad, but you instead act in a wasteful fashion, which anyone can do, then this character would come for you and sort of like carry off your things. And so we're dedicated to fulfilling a personal life goal, which could be the replacement of something. What if that was something like, what if he was the only survivor of a neighboring village or of some other, folklore village, or even this village, and there was a great fire or accident, and this could have been the only survivor. And so all the ghosts and grief fueled this character. And after the village has been rebuilt or resettled, we have this fantastic character now that comes, and until he can take enough people and things to recreate the old village in kind of, the mountain over there, or in some sort of Shadowfell type demiplane, that things will continue to disappear. And again, the moral, keep your nose clean, keep everything straight, and you won't lose your things. But disorganized people, lose their things. People who act to break other people or act as bullies or whatnot, those people also seem to disappear. If not through some kind of karma, then action, which many attribute to our item reaper of sorts. Lawful good discovered corruption in the community, saw crimes worthy of execution, knows that the evil will seek revenge and conducts a sanctioned execution of the monastery. Lawful evil is sworn to kill lawful good, and the gods that lawful good sacrificed his home to. So we could tie these two together in kind of a folklore or a myth, where we have the two. Machishika is saying Pompeii. A Pompeii style incident where there could have been a natural disaster. So we're, I guess, acting as a force of nature then, instead of guided by some kind of, not necessarily like a warlock patron, but an intelligence. We're just more a manifestation of, intelligent man's resentment against nature's indifference. If we go back to our NPC, what we had come up with, real girl who fled a tragedy, and you know what that tragedy could even be, Machi, because we had talked about something like a volcano or another force. Our other monk here fled a tragedy, accepted death, but earned continual unlife as the keeper of finality and renewal. And so in this new world, we might have our lawful good vampire long death monk be the way forward, whereas her counter is wanting to return to the past. You know, can't let things go. Takes from others to try and build something that can never exist again. Whereas she continually offers death, but does so in a way because there is more to come from death. Oh no, one and only, or I'm sorry, RAO. These are excellent prompts, and also I don't know when you came in the channel, so you might not have seen this character that we ended up making from the NPC point of view, the non-villainous by default. And these could end up then being 2 survivors, or even if we wanted to connect them, this could be that the person, if not a person, it could be the lost village, kind of like Pompeii, what Machi was talking about. This could even be the death of a loved one. Could have been, you know, our siren could be a you know, could have been the loved one who died but has gone on. And so this person can't let that event go despite her having become a vampire. You gotta, okay, as we're describing the giant, so RAO, that was the NPC that we made before. And so yeah, these two can totally be different sides of a coin. Or, you know, if not like opposite sides, then one can at least be the third side of the coin that we don't often talk about, but exists. Coins have 3 sides, right? Just happens statistically only 2 of them really ever come up. And we have a learning lesson. We have something that can be, you know, a consideration, even in a sense, a kind of a holiday, you know, maybe not worshiping, but sometimes you can have a holiday that is a sacrifice or that is a reflection. It could come about from a natural disaster or a war, you know, such as we have Veterans Days, or, you know, in how we have Hanukkah in the wake of a war where, you know, the supplies were running low and things were desperate, and yet here's this miracle where the lights had lasted. Yeah, it does tend to be the roly part. So I like it, and I think we have an awesome prompt here for a villain, and the imagery alone from this character is really powerful. Okay, now we're gonna finish up our workshop. We're gonna make one more of these characters, and just as we did with the NPCs, we started with the broad ideas first, then we applied the specifics. Now let's try the exercise, but make the specifics first, and then apply the broad thoughts and methodologies to the character. And so for that will end up being our occupation and history. We're going to make the character first and then apply the character's character, if that makes sense. We're going to go back, and so Machi, you still have the background locked in for this. If you can stick around for it. Oh, you know what? You know what we forgot to do? Hold on. We were a death monk, but we rolled multi-class. So I totally forgot. We're not only a monk, but perhaps we diverged into something else. I just remembered at the last moment. I don't know. This could affect things. We'll find out. Oh, shoot. We got to get a second class on here, too, to consider. Who else is hanging out here? Does Lawful Evil have to be a villain? Does the PC have to be a hero? In the grand scheme of things, no. Because we're directly manufacturing roles to fulfill specific story elements, yes. Though most of the time what you're going to find in our workshop RAO, no. Though this character will be seen as a villain in the culture that develops from these prompts. Because night after night, we're taking one step at a time to develop these prompts Then tomorrow is a setting. Then after that, we're going to fill in the holidays, because now we'll have a culture and a geography. And then in the final night of the workshop on Saturday, we're going to make adventure prompts that could take place during each of the holidays. All right, ready to nap? Can you roll a D13 in chat for me, please? Oh, of course. You know, not many villains get up in the morning, look at themselves in the mirror, and go, "I'm evil." Yeah. But we are purposely manufacturing an evil character in this instance. Rolled a 3, a bard. And in particular, what kind of a bard did our villain multi-class into? There are 5 different types. RAO, can you please roll a D5 in chat? Exclamation point roll, space 1D5. Whispers, if we get whispers, my goodness. There's certainly a message and a moral to the story. Rolled a 2. Lore. I think lore works very well too if we're trying to bring a past back to life that has been lost. A lore bard. All right, we got to go back up here and amend this real quick. Monkway the Long Death / Bard College of Lore. And yes, you know, it writes itself, right? They're in possession of forbidden lore. This could be something like what could reactivate the volcano, or what could bring disaster back down upon. And so, you know, bleeding into what Ario was talking about, the culture sees this as a villain. Let's say for some reason the characters came to life in an adventure. They might learn that this person has been like abducting elements that would lead this new culture back, but he's just been, you know, he's not been, well, I'm going to leave the women and children. Like, he's just been, I'm taking everything that could threaten this new one. But no one knows that right now until you run the adventure that actually shows it's not even a redemption for the villain, because the villain's not seeking redemption. It is a revision of the perception of the villain, which is the same thing but different. D&D synergy, yeah. Yep, ready to nap. It writes itself. Capital M, IWI for it writes itself. Iwi? You know, you have Owos and Uwos. We have Iwis here. Wait a second, does the villain and the person perceived as the villain have to be the same? Wait, you know, if we want to do things like question the villainy and such, those would be things like the adventure prompts or the state of that. But I mean, what we're doing right now is we're making Santa Claus, we're making Krampus, we're making the Easter Bunny kind of a thing. So for tonight, the bad guy's the bad guy. However, on Saturday, the bad guy may not be the bad guy. All right, now, geez, it's eerie how this stuff really comes together. Let's start with the specifics and broaden ourselves from here. Hark, are you still around? Who do we have that would like to roll some dice? And of course, any of you can redeem inspiration points to lock in something too. Hey, Fluffy Sheep. Fluffy, if you'll get us started, can you roll a D100 in chat, please? $24. All right, we have a female character. Now, for the race of the character, because all options are on the table, including the D&D time races, in sort of like brotherhood and support of Pete and Jeremy and their wonderful community at D&D Time, who have some amazing homebrew stuff. And they just have a lot of fun on Fridays. I hope you all go give them a look. Let's roll. Hark, will you roll a D50 and determine the race of this next villainous character, holiday character? You rolled a 43, a turtle. A turtle, all right? We have a villainous turtle. And there's really no, I mean, there's no, oh, actually, you know what? I'm sorry. With D&D Time, there is a subrace, a dragon turtle. So we actually do get a choice in this instance. So are we going to have a traditional turtle or a dragon turtle? And to determine this, Cold Spark, are you still hanging out? I don't know. Marlboro Man might be hanging out, but might just be in lurk mode. Dogs and Hot Dogs and others might be. Disfeminist might be lurking as well. I appreciate all the lurks. Durgan turtles. Okay, no problem, RAO. There's plenty more to go. And Sky, thank you very much for the follow. Sky, would you like to roll for this character? Well, I'm seeing ready. I'm seeing if Sky is, cause oh, there we go. All right, yeah, I was prompting to see if Sky was there because some people might follow and leave, or they might follow through other links, and I just wanted to make sure that Sky was here. So Sky, can you roll? Let's give you a nice chunky D12. So exclamation point roll space 1D12. And if it is an odd number, it's a traditional turtle. If it's an even number, it is the dragon turtle variant. If you're not mid-combo, okay, Fluffy, I'll be sure to call on you then. And yeah, or sleep and wake up. Yep, it happens. Evens. We're making a villainous dragon turtle. I'm gonna have to find the the sub races on D&D Time. So just we'll it is non-tortitional. No, you got it, Sky. Don't worry. I think all that they did was they replaced. I think they gave it Steam Breath, and they swapped out Amphibious. It was a really decent variant of the turtle. Or they replaced the defensive with the more offensive Steam Breath. So we have a turtle that is more of a dragon turtle, or if you want to say that a dragonborn and a turtle romantically involve themselves. Which, hey, do we have a Valentine's Day villain? Maybe. We'll see. But we have a dragon turtle. All right, now. Sky, thank you for the follow. I'll tell you what, Sky, why don't you give us one more roll? Can you type exclamation point 1D100, or I'm sorry, exclamation point roll space 1D100? Valentine's Day. Oh, da-da-da-da-da-da. You're fine, Fluffy. Don't worry about it. Exclamation point roll space 1D100, and we're going to use the penchant for evil chart for the alignment. rolls a 30, so we have a lawful evil character. So we have a lawful evil female dragon turtle. Not worried about character level or ability score improvements or feats. Now, she had some sort of a hobby, a first job, a background that was her occupation. Thank you, ma'am. Let's find out what that was. Machi, you wanted to roll for background shenanigans or silliness. Machi, can you give me a D78 roll in chat, please? Either the dragon left disappointed or the turtle left dead. 31. A fisher. Oh, that's out of Ghost of Saltmarsh. Now, this is going to be fun. It writes itself, Machi is in with the iwi. There is actually, you have a particular story as a fisher. And this is a lot of fun. And so, ready to nap, can I get a D8 roll from you to find out what is our fishing story? What is she connected with in some way? All right, we are fisher number 3, and we'll take a look at that in just a second. I'll open that up, but let's keep going with the prompts. Then we'll go through with the you know, we're casting the dice into the augury, and now we have to read them. So we have our D8. Not worried about these things because those are going to get developed. Now, for her class, how does she express the mechanics of her character? Whether it's, you know, anger, happiness, magic, mundane things, her methodology. And so let's have Fluffy Sheep. Will you roll a D13 to determine her class? Machi's showing a little ankle on whatever the number 3 fishing story is with that iwi. Uh-oh, Fluffy's in the middle of a Street Fighter, yeah, exactly. Tiger! 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 There we go. Rolled a 7. Another monk? Oh my goodness. This is going to make a very interesting culture for the region where these holidays are developed. And once more, we're going to... You look all sorts of funky with that light reflecting in your eyes, ma'am. My goodness. Sky, will you please type !roll space 1d8 and tell us what kind of monk that we're gonna get. I mean, yeah, if we get a 4, my goodness. Yeah, Machi, it's yeah, I know it doesn't look digital at all, right? We got a 4, another long death monk. Wow. Oh my gosh. We are building an interesting story. Everyone, this writes itself. This story is gonna write itself for us. And for all of you DMs out there who agonize over building cultures and holidays and villains and NPCs and all this, just let it happen. Just let it go. And oh wow. It could be societal, yeah. Yeah, exactly. Oh wow. All right. Okay. And lastly, we need to determine how old our our turtle, specifically our dragon turtle is. Or at least if not like specific, how does this dragon turtle appear? And hey, Never Not Cold. By the way, I'm sorry, I forgot to say hi to you. Never Not Cold, can you please type !roll space 1D100? Rolled a 74. So she also appears middle-aged. And for a dragon turtle, I don't know what that means. But we have a middle-aged, lawful evil female dragon turtle, monk, Way of the Long Death, with the fishing background. And Never Not Cold, thank you very much for the follow. Now let's crack open our Ghosts of Saltmarsh. We can close Acquisitions Inc. Let's open up Ghosts of Saltmarsh. And we well, did I go too far? Oh, I think that was the wrong background. Because I'm looking specifically for the Ghost of Saltmarsh backgrounds, which is on page 29. There we go, Fisher. You gain advantage on ability checks made when using fishing tackle. If you have access to a body of water that sustains marine life, you can maintain a moderate lifestyle while working as a fisher, and you can catch enough food to feed yourself and up to 10 other people each day. And our fishing tail, which is kind of like our custom part of our background, was number 3, and number 3 reads as follows: Fins of Pure Gold. You caught a sea animal whose fins were made of pure gold, but another fisher stole it. Oh, you're playing in a Ghost of Saltmarsh game. Excellent. I hope you have a lot of fun with it, Sky. The amount of monks, I would think that a secular spiritual conflict would be at hand. That is a very good catalyst, I think, to a lot of adventures that these holidays can explore. Seems like a fish with golden fins would have difficulty swimming. Maybe it was a goldfish. A Splinter Cell, or the Turtle Monks of the Latter-day Saints, says Fluffy Sheep. I'm sensing a Strangers on a Train theme of revenge between them all. This could be a tale of this could be a tale that the holidays are told so that we learn life lessons, not from us and our actions, but by following the lives of these real and or mythological and or deific creatures. There is a similar tone that is brought up in Tomb of Annihilation, and I'm not providing any major spoilers for what happens. In one of the cultures that you discover throughout the adventure, there is a faith that believes in trickster gods, and the trickster gods all don't get along with each other because they play tricks on each other, because they're trickster gods. Hey, it makes sense, right? And so this could be a similar case where these, the holidays are made so that we can observe and maybe try to absolve us of our own tricks and foibles and faults and sins, because we're understanding the stories that take place throughout winter as told by these people or these creatures. Oh, you just finished DMing Princes of the Apocalypse. And are you going to springboard that? Is there going to be a shift then from that directly into Ghosts of Saltmarsh? Or is this just a break and this is another world, another time? Now, what could also be, we have a turtle, and of course, because we're incorporating the D&D time variant of a dragon turtle, we might have a turtle. She might have been a turtle, or the fins of pure gold could have been something along the lines of a curse. Or the creature that was caught might have been a golden dragon of the sea. Now, in D&D cosmology and such, you're like, well, that's blue dragons and bronze dragons that live by the sea. They have lightning breath. Come on. Duh, gold dragons breathe fire and live on a mountain like red dragons or whatever. This is our world. We're making the story. We're making the culture. So what if she was just a turtle, or what if she was a dragonborn, or even a half dragon if you want to go that far? Or I don't know, a kobold. You want a shorty race? A kobold, because of course kobolds are dragons. And caught a turtle that had golden fins, or caught a golden dragon, or something along those lines. And we were going to make a deal. We were, this entity was going to grant us riches and power, or bestow a blessing. Another fisher stole it, and instead we were cursed. Or there's a moral in this story, because maybe the golden creature was trying to measure our fisher's soul, and instead she let anger corrupt it. And so she became like the turtle from the dragon, or never turned into a dragon, but still remained a turtle form. However we want to take it, this could be that kind of a tale. And there's plenty in cultures everywhere where a god or some manifestation or just a moral lesson manifests as someone who observes the behavior of someone else, and the behavior of the observed person then determines the reward. And in this case, as we have a villain, our methodology or our thoughts have somehow been corrupted, or been made evil or selfish or destructive to others. And this could be a tale of jealousy, or a tale of kind of being a spoiled brat, even well after normal adulthood. Maybe a golden carp that was in the middle of evolving into a dragon. Or a golden, it could even be, it doesn't have to be a fish. It could have been a net. It could have been something scooped up. It could have just been washed down a river. The fisher part asks for a body of water that has marine life. That could be a pond. That could be a river. It could be a lake. Maybe she was chasing waterfalls and she didn't stick to the rivers and lakes that she was used to. And if you ignore that kind of advice, you might be cursed. Now that we have this, right? We have the egg, we have the seed, we have this sort of outline of this manifestation of a holiday, and now let's go through villain creation methodology as found in the Dungeon Master's Guide. A water chimera that's being experimented on. Could even be a hydra or some sort of a snake or other serpent. It could be a bug. It could have been some great water beetle. Something along those lines. It could also have been If not an actual animal, it could have been a statue or some piece of art that was in the shape of it that, you know, flowed downstream or was brought up from a deep sea fishing line or something along those lines. Huh. All right. Our villain. We need a prompt. Never Not Cold. Can you get us started now with finding the character and the methods of this villain? I need you to roll a d20 in chat for me. Exclamation point roll space 1d20. And keep these ideas in mind as we find out more about her through this process. Dragonborn, so like a black Dragonborn ancestry, swashbuckler, rogue. Oh no, that was your character, not okay. Got it. For that Sky. Got it. You rolled an 8. Oh, a Fae with a mysterious goal. Fae with a mysterious. So maybe we're actually the one who does the tempting. What if we're like a Rumpelstiltskin talking about gold? Let's find out. Again, the prompt, we don't have to go with what I say. You all might have awesome ideas as well. Probably more awesome than mine. Our objective or our scheme? What are we after? Like, we kind of know who she was, either in villainy or before, or a backstory. But what is she doing here that is villainous? So Sky, can I get a D8 roll in chat? Exclamation point roll space 1d8. RAO, is my proposition congruent to the characters? Her father was a turtle, her mother was a gold dragon. It could be. It's not congruent. Let's find out more about the character, because that may very well fit. That can apply. Sky rolled an 8, so we have a 3. Magic. Oh, some sort of magical scheme. In fact, RAO, to help us determine this, can you please roll a d6 in chat? What kind of magical scheme is our villain up to here? Yeah, Magikarp to Gyarados. Well, if you're going to go to sleep, Park, let me get one more roll out of you, if you don't mind. The fins were... Oh, so the fins fell off and became limbs? Fins to limbs? That kind of sounds like a magic spell. Rolled a 3. Carry out a deity's wishes. Ooh. Could this have been a manifestation of a deity in animal form or an artifact? Carry out a deity's wishes. So we have an agent, and sort of a villainous agent of some sort of deity. All right. Now, what is the method by which she does this? Oh, all right, Machi. If you have it real quick, can you give me a D20? If you've already left, then we'll find someone else, because I know Hark's got to go too. I mean, addressing a drunken disorderly takes more priority than rolling a d20 on a D&D stream. So yeah, Machi's probably taken off to take care of that. Hark, will you roll a d20 in chat? Oh, the fins were stolen from her body. Oh, so that put her on the villainous path. Does she kind of like gamma around then? Or 18 torture. Uh-oh. And like pulling wings off a I mean, whoa, that would be kind of eerie. So her methodology to carry out this deity's wishes, torture, specifically, who do we have hanging around still? Who would like to roll out there? Cold Spark, are you still around? Bubonic One? Ready to Nap, are you out there? Hey, ready to nap. I need you to roll a d6. Ah, she uses acid to torture people. And our villain has a weakness. Our villain's weakness... Sky, why don't you roll a d8 and determine our villain's weakness? All right, Hark. Be well, my friend. Thank you for hanging out with us. If you want to roll one more time, Hark, roll a d20 for the appearance, and then get out of here before I keep calling on you. Rolled a 1. A hidden object holds the villain's soul. Hey, Scarab, welcome. Welcome, welcome. A hidden object holds the villain's soul. Or fins, or, if not soul, then we can have an equivalency. We have the prompt, and we can stick to the prompt, but we're allowed to, we can step sideways with it. Nothing wrong with that. Oh, hey, and good morning to you, Psyart. Welcome, welcome. A fae with a mysterious goal, sent to carry out a deity's wishes, using torture specifically through acid. And the villain's weakness, a hidden object holds the villain's soul. Holds her true noble mind. So the villain is defeated not if the body is, smited by a paladin, but if she can be restored back to the simple, the humble fisherwoman that she was. So are we seeing an evil mastermind cleric holding this guy in thrall because of the soul cage thing? Or a girl in this case? I don't know yet, Fluffy. RAO has an idea. I'm trying to figure out the fins. If her fins are taken, does she just sort of float around without legs or arms? Or I guess I get that the fins were taken, but if they're hers, or are the fins extraneous to her limbs and mobility? But yes, we could have a villain that's actually a patsy, or is being coerced into acting on behalf of an evil cleric or a deity. And so we would actually have not necessarily a redemption style villain, but this would be, what's the trope? The monster? It's not, it's like a pitiable villain. It's a villain that you feel sorry for. It doesn't keep him from being evil, and you don't want him to come by your way, but you feel pity more than, and fear, but it's not like a unknown ancient evil that will eat your eyeballs. This is someone who has been coerced to do bad things, and will do bad things, even though it wouldn't otherwise be in her nature. A reluctant villain? Oh, and hey, Phoenixina. A tragic villain. Thank you, Never Not. That's what I was looking for. A tragic villain. Thank you, Never Not Cold. Yeah, not an anti-hero. And oh my goodness, speaking of Dragon Turtles, Dragon Turtle Games, you would be happy to know that we have a variant Dragon Turtle as the race for our villain. Dragon Turtle, it is good to see you again, brother. It's been a minute. I know you've been busy. You've been busy with a little project called Carbon 2185. But unless I blew your cover. But everyone, boop boop. We have We have a certified publisher amongst us. But still, Dragon, dude, it is a pleasure to have you in the channel again, man. And Ready to Nap is making a video game. So we're plumb flush full of certified publishers. What of different meteors? Never Not Cold? I'm also not making one too. High five. It's a little too convenient. No, this is actually completely random. Yeah, dude, it is great to see you, man. I remember meeting you, getting to know you when you were just a humble turtle, become Dragon Turtle Games, become so much more than the Drag and Drop Adventures. Man, it's a pleasure to see Carbon doing well. You know, it's up there on RP lists, and I'm super happy for you, brother. Congratulations on that project, man. Oh, hey, well then RAO. We got a third certified publisher amongst us. Stars and Garters. Man, y'all creative. Yeah, we're chock full of creatives. All right, now what is an NPC appearance here? Hark before leaving rolled 11. There's a birthmark of some kind on our Dragon Turtle. It's really done a lot better than anyone could have imagined. Do you remember me telling you before launch? Yeah, you know, this was like a big thing. You know, you were springboarding off of Drag and Drop Adventures, Dragon Turtle, with a U, not an O. And dude, as that Kickstarter campaign continued, I mean, watching, and just seeing everything that's come of it, it's great. You know, you've expanded. I'm proud for you, man. I know you don't need some rando on Twitch saying that, but take it full-heartedly from me to you. You're making dice towers to see if something I could make. Oh, yeah. I mean, heck, even if you want to offer that, we have a platform for that sort of stuff on our Discord, Scarab. By the way, Scarab, let me get your help. Let me get your help in making this character. Can you please type !roll space 2d6? And that's going to help determine our NPC high and low abilities. And Dragon Turtle, I'm going to call on you to roll some dice with Mathrock Spot here in chat. So don't go anywhere for a hot minute. 1 and a 3. So she is strong. Her high point is strength. Powerful, brawny, strong as an ox. Her low point is 3, constitution. She's sickly and pale. Or, you know, prone to disease or sickness, or can't run for a long time. There's different ways having a low constitution can manifest. I was happy to do so, Dragon Turtle. Absolutely. I had no doubts about the project, and I happily invested into it. Pleasure to help, Birth of Murder's Villain. Welcome aboard, Scarab. Her soul's not being hosted in the body. Oh, so it makes sense for her to be fragile. Ah. Now, we need a talent. So we have a lot of talented people here. And thank you for the follow, Scarab. Dragon Turtle Games, DTG. Would you please type !roll space 1d20 in chat to let us know a talent that she has? Ario says, I hope the birthmark is a permanent... Oh, jeez. Well, I mean, we'll take it in a oh, shoot. What's the study of mushrooms? Myoxial? Moxiology? Well, take it on the vegetable side and not the side. All right, DTG is leaving a fingerprint on this character. 11 also paints. Oh my gosh. Oh, mycology. Thank you, Never Not Cold. Mycology. Both our villains paint beautifully. Or actually, wait, I'm sorry. The other one draws beautifully. Maybe she paints in the drawings. Maybe it doesn't even have to be related in that way. But we have a paints beautifully. Maybe paints pictures of the lost golden fins. The giant is her inker. Yeah, she does lines, and the giant does inks. Yeah, I still want to know how the fins are a part of this. Unless I missed it in chat. Never Not Cold, can I get a D20 roll for the NPC mannerisms? If you're a DM and you have this as a villain, as a getting ready to fight or something, how can you present this villain? You rolled it, an 11. Makes constant jokes or puns. Makes constant jokes or puns. And hello, Celtic Lady. Welcome back, I should say. Celtic Lady, you just woke up. Now you get homework. This is the teacher throwing the piece of chalk at you. Can you please roll a D12 in chat, Celtic Lady? Fins are an aspect of a god or goddess that wants that aspect back and puts the villain in a geas to make them get it back. So the creature was caught by the fisher, but something else took the creature? Or took the fins off the creature, and the creature's a manifestation of the deity that the villain carries around and is under its compulsion? I think it's exclamation point wark. W-A-R-K, Fluffy Sheep. And Celtic, it's exclamation point roll space 1d12. Rolled a 5. Curious. Are you my mummy? So we have a very curious villain who's seeking these missing fins. Oh, you can get some good creep factor there, I guess. So you have this like homunculus, squished together turtle and I guess golden dragon or dragonborn. Dragon Turtle Games, why yes it was. As we have someone who is under the compulsion of an external force, asking questions of people in search for something very important. A fin, yes, to that who, what, where, when, why, how, absconded with the deific fins, and is going to be receiving some punishment. So our villain is a punisher on behalf of a deity, perhaps to teach a moral of theft or avarice. It's the Finnel countdown instead. Fluffy Sheep, I would like you to roll some ideals for this character. Can you roll 2d6 in chat for me, please? That'll stop your puns, if only for a moment. Or honestly, just don't cross the gods. There are plenty of those stories where, you just say the gods don't really care about us, or not in the way that, others might. Just don't piss them off, because then this happens. They turn even like innocent, pure people into merciless agents. Yeah. Okay, Sky. I mean, I'm sure that... Look, we could just make a role-playing game called The Adventures of Zeus. And... the scales of just... Yeah, if we're talking sea creatures, right? Uh-oh, Fluffy Sheep's in the middle of a combo in Street Fighter V. We'll get our 2d6 roll eventually. Sometimes the hooves take a second to input and then go to the keyboard. The gods think we're insignificant. Yeah, let us please keep it that way. We don't need any of their drama. We're putting up with enough stuff on our own as mere mortals. We don't need that sort of stuff. The villain captured an archfey with golden fins who was a joke, took Tortle's soul and hid it away as a joke. The Tortle tortures Fey to find their soul, but are indiscriminate. As with the lost soul, they continue to grow more insane with their torture. Just unhinged, maybe following a god of torture who doesn't intervene on their behalf because they're being tortured as well. I think I get that. That's probably more my processing that is encountering a speed bump. Ready to nap. Can I get a 2d6 roll from you, please? One and a 5. A good ideal of respect. And she's gonna respect the flesh off of you. And by the way, just like when we make characters who might have an evil alignment, but a good ideal from their background, it is absolutely possible that they seek something that is opposed to their expression. Because they want to be better. They want to break a curse. They want to learn. They want to grow. They want to escape. Though their current expression of themselves, what happens with their hands and mouth, after the filter, you know, brain to mouth or brain to hand filter, that is more the alignment. It doesn't mean you can't have an ideal. You can be a hired killer and can look someone in the eye while stabbing them in the heart, but say, you know what, I could really use a new job because I don't want to kill people, and have that as a good ideal. So inside of her, she has this ideal. I'm sorry, I put that as useful knowledge. This is her ideal. Inside her, she is respectful. She wants this. You know, she wants to respect others, but she could be under this compulsion. It still means she is doing evil things. In many instances, she is evil and has been subjected to evil forces. There is something, it could be the golden fins or caught up with it, or her soul that is being held hostage in exchange for the return of the fins. Because there's a lot of different story elements here, and I want to make sure I'm trying to gather them together. But somewhere inside her, she is that tragic villain. She wants to escape. She doesn't want to do this. And yet here she is. So we can divide, so you can use that as an example, RAO. You might have a problem with something that an actor said or did. I'm not trying to stir up any, just in broad, a politician, an actor, and yet it's okay to like a movie an actor was in and not like the actor or the actor's politics or anything else. It's okay to appreciate the modern state of rocketry despite the foundations of it post-World War II. Now, I mean, we're entering kind of a heat paradox. I'm not trying to draw concrete lines in the sand across philosophies and countries and whatnot. But these are good things to discover. And RAO, you made a point. Oh, hey, Sire. Yes. There is. Because Sky wants to roll the flaw. So, Syart, can you roll me a d10 in chat, please? And Sai, thank you for speaking up, because I meant to call on you, but through the conversation, it just, boop, it fell out of my ear. So, because of chat activity and whatnot, because I do want to engage, but sometimes it happens. So, Syart, give me a d10, and Sky, can you roll a d12, please? Sire, our bond is number 3. We're protective of colleagues or compatriots of some kind. Protective of colleagues or compatriots. It could be other death monks. All these people have been drawn together, have been given different kinds of death, even. A singular death, the death of a civilization, and the death of, it's not even undeath, she's still alive. Her soul has been displaced. So she's actually kind of like dead inside, as she's just become a meat puppet for a revenge of a god. And these are different ways that it can manifest. We might have a morbid society in some way. Oh yeah, well, hey Celtic, thank you for doing so. Even if you're busy or you got to go back to bed, I still appreciate you coming by and saying hi again. All right, and Sky rolled a d12 for the flaw or the secret of our villain, and that is number 10. A secret crime or misdeed. And so I wonder, what if, if this is fishing, what if she went fishing in a place she wasn't supposed to? What if she would have been caught and she thought she had a reward by this golden thing that now led to everything else? And so she decided to work for this god initially because she didn't want anyone to find out, and the god wouldn't tell as long as she got the fins back. But now that she's become a murder machine of a sort, she regrets, because it would have just been easier. And remember, as this is the inspiration for a holiday, which can contain various messages, morals and religious values, historical notes that we should carry forward, mythology and folklore. This could end up also being a moral to a story. If you're bouncing a little kid on your knee and it's this holiday time, and you say, this is why you tell the truth. Because worse things can happen to people who try and hide a misdeed. Ready nap, I told you to stop fishing in Excalibur's lake. I'm getting strong Smeagol Golem. Oh yeah, that could be a good inspiration. Never Not Cold. A fisher who found something golden and lost it, and is now making questionable questionable decisions because of it, on behalf of a greater being who wants that golden thing. Never Not Cold, you are also not too far off, I suppose. Maybe she's an avatar of repenting her misdeeds. If you don't do this, what happens? And you know what? Avatars don't always have to be beautiful angelic beings. They can be waterlogged, kind of misshapen creatures that will torture you by, throwing up on you and like digesting you or something along those lines, to try and find the secrets within by slowly dissolving the case away. So of course she's spooky. Of course she's kind of gross. Of course you want to behave and learn a lesson and not fib to mom and pa. Nothing can hide in acid. Actually, the right acid can reveal things that have never existed. It's been great to drop in. Yeah, Dragon Turtle, thank you for stopping by. Anytime you can, you're always welcome here. I also get that you're a busy dude, and congratulations again on that. Thank you for doing so, man. It was good running into you. Almost every Mythos god had their Black Ops warrior. Yeah, some kind of we say champion, like a Hercules, beautiful and strong, and, or a Thor or something. Not all of them are pretty looking. Some of them are just got to get the job done, and there's different ways to go about that. Now, we have this generated. To close things out, what's some kind of a winter holiday that you see this perhaps reflecting for things that we know exist? Right? We have Krampusnacht. We have all kinds of manifestations of Christmas, Christmas Eve, Christmas Day, the 12 days of Christmas, various saints. St. Stephen's Day, St. John the Evangelist Day, Holy Innocents Day. We come down here, Pancha Ganapati. Various historical, Mother's Night, right? A Saxon winter solstice that is supposed to celebrate mothers. This is just in December too. Hanukkah, Festival of Lights, Yule in pagan theology. Yalda. Geez. There are secular days, an International Day of Disabled Persons, Boxing Day, Human Rights Day, Kwanzaa, just regular old cosmic solstice. And then we had some made-up ones. We had Festivus, right? Feats of Strength, Aluminum Pole, Airing of Grievances, Feast of Alvis. From different video games too. Feast of Winter Veil. There's ones with movable dates. The Lunar New Year. Passover. Though we're sticking to December, January, February, but we come back to the beginning of the year here. We have New Year's, 12th night, Epiphany, even an Orthodox Christmas, not just Christmas. Lori, Pongal, and this is Wikipedia. I'm not saying I'm intimately familiar with these. But this is a Hindu harvest festival in South India. So you can have a harvest festival because it's a tropical climate in winter. In February, of course, there's Valentine's Day, Groundhog Day for a folklore. Where it's about weather and things that could affect farming and agriculture. You have Imbolc, which it's a new year, first day of spring in the Celtic calendar. Yep, that's Sky. There you go. I'm sorry, not Imbolc. I mispronounced that. Shame on me. When we did our fall ones, I even was saying Samhain as it's supposed to be. I like the idea of when things are about to hibernate for some reason. Let us think about an avatar of sympathy. Would that avatar be beautiful, or would that avatar be in need of sympathy? On that note, I'm down with Solstice. How would this character then represent Solstice? Oh, Imbolc. Okay. I didn't know if because I'm looking back and forth real quick, if it was BLOC or BOLC. This is a character this is a character. Let's see. Carries out a deity's wishes. Fey with a mysterious goal. And so that's the villain. So in this case, she could have been turned into some sort of a Fey creature, or that is the agency. Tortures people with acid to find out what's inside, to try and find the fins or her own soul. Because a hidden object holds the villain's soul. She was a fisher of some kind, either in myth or reality. Studied the way of the long death, or at least is associated with that faith. You caught an animal whose fins were pure gold, but another fisher stole it. So there's a sense of searching. There's a sense of finding something. We need to find the gold. Longest night is solstice. Most time to skulk in darkness. Long night, long death. Gold could represent fire. The Fae could have been a summer Fae. So she celebrates winter solstice. Okay, so she's of the winter court. Never not cold. Cold could represent fire. The Fae could have been a summer Fae, so she celebrates winter solstice. Well, keyboard or phone, not so big, but yes, you're right on pronunciations. Okay. Oh, all right, so Imbolc was correct. I wanted to make sure that I didn't mess up, because I was on there on the initiative, but I'm a little scattered right now. Cold Death Rebirth, a phoenix-like character who loses essence during the absence of... So are we seeing... Is this actually a character with a winter manifestation? A solstice manifest... almost like... I mean, if we talk about paganism, where we have... and Sky, forgive me, because off the top of my head, I forget the cycle. But it's what? It's daughter, maiden, mother, crone. If any of you know what I'm talking about, please correct me, because that could be the idea that this is actually the solstice or the winter manifestation of a character. Oh, is it only 3? I swore that it was 4. It's maiden, mother, crone. Okay. I thought there was a 4th one. Well, thank you for correcting me, and for, hey, let's talk about this, right? Because this is either the first time people have heard of it, and they should hear about what they should research if it gets their ideas correct, and also I don't want to tell falsies. Yeah. Well, then in this case, maybe to a character like this, instead of 4 seasons of 3 months, if you go with 12 in this environment, there's 3 seasons of 4. You cross into from Fae on Solstice. Yeah. During these times, with Samhain and Imbolc and other things, liminality is a consideration for those who celebrate, because that liminality is very important to either understand or avoid. Yalda Night seems to fit from a quick Google search. Yalda was in... There we go. The turning point, winter solstice, as the longest night of the year and the beginning of the lengthening of days. Shabe Yalda, or Shabe Shel, is an Iranian festival celebrating the victory of light and goodness over darkness and evil. Shabe Yalda means birthday eve, according to... Oh yeah, we read this at the beginning too. According to Persian mythology, Mithra was born at dawn on December 22nd to a virgin mother. He symbolizes light, truth, goodness, strength, and friendship. Herodotus reports that this was the most important holiday of the year for contemporary Persians. In modern times, Persians celebrate Yalda by staying up late or all night, a practice known as Shab Shera, meaning night gazing. Fruits and nuts are eaten, especially pomegranates and watermelons, whose red color invokes the crimson hues of dawn and symbolize Mithra. I actually think daughter seems fitting, even if it's not according to the lore. Yeah, oh, yeah. I wanted to address the core first, and then if we want to modify it from there, because this is our game and our concept. The longest night is the most time she can search yearly for the Finns. She's half of a dual entity. Anyone that has stolen something precious to another can be on her list to interrogate. Similar to how Buddhists worship the number 9, maybe they worship the longest night in hopes that for the day to come, since it seems she is the tragic villain. Alright, so we're getting kind of a mix of Yalda and the story of Persephone and Hades, kind of about how the seasons come and go, where we have a young woman who kind of goes through the cycle and, you know, must go through hell, and maybe what, on solstice, it's said that she finds the Finns in the golden color is what coaxes the light to return to the sky. Something like that. Dark aspect when curiosity turns to obsession, when good intentions become bad outcomes. And then maybe the light helps redeem her back, or the crone, or if we want to say instead of crone, because crone isn't like evil old witch. Crone is more of a maturity. Like an elder woman's maturity. You know, it has a negative connotation, but crone doesn't have to be the Hansel and Gretel witch or anything. Instead, if we want, we could say, if we want to say hag, to invoke D&D mechanics as well, we could say hag. So it could be a creature that sort of morphs through different fae aspects as well. Yeah, youth and innocence, nurturing, and then crone is wisdom and experience. Yeah, crone doesn't have to be long nosed with a wart and green skin or anything like that. Okay. So we have themes of cycles of life, searching, tragedy, cruelty of the gods. Yeah, the wise woman in the woods. She's the equal to what we see as Apollo. She has to find her Finns in the winter every year to ensure the summer. Well, wait, wouldn't she be more like Persephone? Or am I mixing? I'm sorry, because it's 4 a.m., so pardon me for not being super polished on my Greek. But we have our basic concept here.